Welcome to the Anchorland Podcast, Real Estate Conversations. The podcast where we talk about anything and everything about real estate. So, for the next few minutes, magkukwentuhan tayo about ano ba yung mga concerns natin about real estate and ano ang magandang gawin or kasagutan sa mga concern na to. By the way, ako po si Arwin Tolentino, Training Director of Anchorland. And I'm very excited today. Bakit po? Today is a very special day for two reasons. First, today is the pilot episode of our podcast, so we're making history today. And second, we have two very special guests who will join us in our kwentuhan, and they will share their valuable insights about investments and real estate. Introduce ko na po ang ating mga special guests. Our first guest is a licensed real estate broker and has been in the industry for over 9 years. Ang specialty po niya is residential and commercial real estate. And very soon, she will be a licensed real estate consultant. By the way, she's also the head of business development of Brookie Technologies. So she's also very knowledgeable when it comes to property technology or yung usong-usong naririnig natin ngayon na prop tech. Joining us all the way from Cagayan de Oro, welcome po natin, Miss Stefanie Uy.
Hi, Sir Arwin. Thank you so much for having me today. And hello also to all of our listeners. I'm so happy to be here in the pilot episode. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much also for accommodating us. Alam ko napaka-busy mo rin eh. You're joining us all the way from Cagayan de Oro. Kamusta na ba tayo ngayon dyan sa CDO?
Well, we're okay naman here, although we have been seeing a rise of local transmission cases, but I think it's being handled well naman. So we're just staying positive in a good way. We're staying healthy.
That's good, and talagang dapat during these times we really need to stay positive. Again, thank you very much, Stefanie, for joining us. And our next guest is someone naman who's no stranger to Anchorland. In fact, this is his third appearance with us, so talagang we're very happy to have him back. This is the person who is the most requested speaker of Anchorland events. And he's joining us all the way from Davao City. He is the Business Development Section Head for Mindanao of First Metro Securities Brokerage Corporation. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Robbi Samson.
Arwin, really glad to be here once again. No, so I'm very excited to do this inaugural episode. So hello also to all of our listeners. So ang hope po natin is madami tayong mapulot na magandang insights from this particular episode.
Yeah, tama. And welcome, Robbi. Thank you ulit for accommodating us. And I'm really sure na talagang maraming mapupulot ang ating mga listeners today, especially nga the two of you are bringing your expertise in your respective fields. So, Robbi, it's been a while since we last talked. So, ano ba pinagkakabalahan mo ngayon? Kamusta na ba tayo ngayon dyan sa Davao?
So when it comes to Davao City, I think good news is on the way naman. No? So the economy is slowly but surely reopening. We've had a few minor hiccups lately regarding the imposition of the new curfew, but besides that, we fully expect the economy to recover in the next coming months. So there is a thrust, there is a sincere effort from the LGU to really help businesses pick back up and go back to their normal way of operations. No? So even though alam naman po natin na hindi naman natin siya mararating anytime soon, the effort is there, and with Davao City being one of the major cities in Mindanao, it is expected that when the economy reopens, the economic activity will flow right back into Davao City. And I think that is something that investors here are being able to recognize. No, it's something that they are recognizing, because I do see a lot of questions. I do see a lot of inquiries regarding investment. So this comes from people of all ages, from all professions, sectors. So nakikita ko doon na, uy, interested pala talaga mag-invest yung mga tao right now. No, they really are seeking places where they can put their money, and I think that has to do din with the pandemic. No, so if ever naapektuhan ka ng pandemic, hindi ka makatravel, you have extra money lying around right now, and you want that extra money to to grow instead of letting it just sit somewhere, no? So that's something that I think is a is an added benefit when it comes to disposable income of people, and something that companies right now can leverage. So if ever you're able to put out a product or a service that people want or people need, I think pupuntahan siya, dadayuhin siya ng tao kasi nandiyan naman yung funds, no? They do have funds available.
That's actually good to hear. Things are starting to pick up again. Kasi nga, there have been concerns during the start of the pandemic, especially nung nag-open ng 2020. But it's really good to hear this news na nagsa-start na uli mag-pick up ang landscape natin dyan sa Davao, especially for business and investments.
Kahit bata, meron na nag-iinvest, no? Even students, even young professionals are looking to invest right now, which is quite surprising, but nonetheless, very encouraging.
You know, Rob, earlier when you mentioned that you're surprised that there are people who are still investing at this time given the COVID pandemic. I actually have the same experience. Because earlier, during the start of the pandemic, I thought na, oh no, baka bababa yung sales ng real estate. But what happened is actually my real estate sales picked up. Siguro nga naman because people are at home, they don't have a lot of extra expenses, so they're thinking about investing right now.
Yeah, we actually experienced the same thing, no? So nung kasagsagan ng lockdown, when the lockdowns were first issued back in March, instead of seeing a downturn when it comes to inquiries and new account openings, we actually experienced a spike. So it was there that I was able to conclude talaga na siguro pinag-aaralan na ng tao way before pa yung pag-i-invest. Kasi it can't happen, it shouldn't work like that na the pandemic hit and then people are suddenly more ready to invest than ever. That means they already have the money available. So ibig sabihin
Yeah.
matagal na nilang napag-aralan, yes.
And you know what? Data even shows that there has been a spike in searches and in inquiries for the Davao region. So
Mm,
it shows
okay.
how resilient the market is, especially also in Davao. And I know that there's a sustainable market for residential leasing in Davao, especially because it's positioning itself to be the MICE capital of the Philippines. So we can expect a lot of conventions, a lot of exhibits that's going to happen in the Davao region, which supports the demand for residential leasing.
Hmm. So, I think makikita talaga natin that the market is maturing, no? Even at a very young age, sinabi ni Robby kanina, people are already looking at investments. And this is something talaga na we've seen as well when we studied the Davao market. And that's why Anchorland's thrust, especially for Davao, is coming up with a way to provide investors a means for passive income. Especially nga, since pinoposition ng Davao, sinabi ni Stefanie kanina, as a venue for meetings, incentives, conventions, mga exhibitions, talagang there is that opportunity that we can really tap into to provide investors the means for passive income. And this is something na nakita namin This is very similar as well with our experience in the Bay Area. Kasi we have a leasing group and based on how they analyzed the market, talagang nakita nila that in an area similar to Davao, there will really be an increase in rental demand. Plus the fact that a lot of our unit owners that we've observed sa Bay Area, they're not residing 100% in the Philippines. So we stepped in to provide them an additional service, which is leasing operation for their units that they really intended for passive income. And this pretty much is really the future of rental income for investors. And it's the same thing that we anticipated that will happen in Davao. In fact, diba, if you go around the downtown area of Davao City, talagang makikita mo dyan, tabi-tabi, marami talagang mga paupahan, which really talks about the market that is sustainable and also the demand that's present for rental, which is where Anchorland really positioned itself by providing a solution for investors who are looking for passive income.
I like what
Um,
you mentioned about, having that leasing service because not a lot of clients are actually available to take care of their units. So when you mentioned about that you have a leasing service that's going to help the clients, I think it's very valuable for them because like what Robbie mentioned earlier din is that investors are looking for ways kung saan nila pwede ma-invest ang money nila without having to really wonder how to do it. They just want to have a way of getting their cash back in because they're mostly conservative investors, right?
yes, I definitely agree with that. No, in a way, it's kind of like they want to be spoon fed, in the sense that once I give
In
you
a way,
my money,
yes.
or yes, parang once I give you my money, or once I make a decision on where I should invest, hopefully that's the nearly the extent of that. No, as much as possible, the only time that I want to ano it again, to look at it again, is once I am able to receive na my income from that particular investment. And I think andun pa si Davao right now, because it's normal and there's nothing wrong with that, because that's definitely one of the best ways to invest. No, it's not like you really have to be overly active when it comes to investing. So investing can be a supplement to whatever your main source of income is, and because of that,
That's why you call it passive income, right?
yes, oo,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, 'di
That's
ba?
right.
Kaya maganda talaga siya, and it's a good place to start din for people who want to get started on investing. Pero at least ang added advantage dito is that they would be investing with a reputable company, with a company that is listed in the stock exchange, and that in itself, that's huge. Kumbaga, if you, especially speaking as a stockbroker, I understand perfectly the value of being a publicly listed company in the Philippine Stock Exchange.
Pretty much yun yung talagang mindset or goal of Anchorland when we came into Davao eh. Providing a solution for investors who are looking for passive income. Uh, this is something kasi that we were able to talagang really substantiate by providing a project that will support passive income. Papaano? Kasi you already have the market, diba? You already have the market coming in, especially with the location. Talagang it's very sustainable. But we wanted to look at how do we make it more sustainable by making things, syempre, efficient, diba? Kasi sa paupahan, you need to also make sure efficient ang operation mo. So, what we did when we came in, we designed talaga these units na talagang pangpaupahan. Uh, in what way? First, the units upon turnover are already business ready. So, ibig sabihin nito, upon turnover, the units are already fully furnished, ready na agad siya for rental operation. So there's really no need for you to think about paano bang fit out nito, ano bang sukat nito, ilang kama ilalagay ko rito. Each space was really meticulously planned for kasi it's really purposefully designed talaga for rental operations.
Yeah, I like when you mentioned that the units are business ready because most of the condo units that I'm seeing that are being sold is usually bare. So it has to be the client who has to furnish the unit. They either have to hire an interior designer or a contractor to furnish the space for them, and that's an extra cost for the investor, right? So I like that you have business ready units because in a way it's hassle free for the clients. All they need to do is it's already packaged in the total price, I believe. And then they
Mhm.
don't have to worry about it. Parang ready na siya for leasing.
Yeah, and as
Exactly.
an added ano no, as an added insight, um kasi dito in here in Davao, we're starting to see an influx of new schools coming in from Luzon, no? So we of course we have Ateneo de Davao, but we're also seeing yung mga bago like Lyceum, Malayan colleges. And so these are wonderful schools. Their compounds are really great. Their facilities are great. And so you can see here that they are positioning Davao, no? They see Davao as a hub for Mindanao. And so a lot of parents also are being are being more inclined to send their students to send their kids here in Davao City to study. So may ready market ka agad, especially since as a parent, 'di ba, you would want na ang poproblemahin mo na lang is yung safety ng anak mo, yung proximity to the school and whatnot. And so if you
Mm-hmm.
can find a property na fit out na siya, ready na siya for use, that's only going to be more attractive to them, I assume. And so if you're the investor of that particular of that particular unit, it stands to reason na mas madali ka din makaka-attract ng tenants, no? Which is something that is going to be very very important. Maganda yung location, safe yung lugar, maganda yung facilities. I think that's an added advantage and something that will definitely please yung mga investors because they always want the assurance that they will be able to generate money from their investments. Medyo risk averse sila understandably in that regard.
Mm-hmm. Totoo yan. Speaking about yung market na you were talking about, no, that's something kasi that we also put into heavy consideration when we conceptualize a project. So, inaral din natin, sino ba yung magiging market if I were to get a unit for rental, sino ba yung market na I can expect? So with that in mind, you talked about students, di ba? With a lot of reputable schools in Davao. That's really one of the primary markets that you can tap into. With Davao also being one of the best, if not one of the top tourist destinations in the Philippines, you can also expect leisure travelers to frequent Davao. Plus, with also how Davao is being positioned as the next capital, if you want to say it, for MICE, you can also expect a lot of expats, business travelers, whether they're local and foreign travelers. They will really flock to Davao, and that's why again, just it really reiterates that there is a demand for accommodations. However, we've seen that the supply is not enough to meet this demand. While at the same time, yung sinabi kanina ni Stephanie, um, mayroon kasing mga ibang investors, they buy a unit but they have to worry about the additional cost and additional time that they will take just to get their unit ready. That's why when we designed to Peaklane, talagang we planned it out in such a way na when you receive the unit, it's already set for you. You just wait and start marketing your property, and you can really expect that you will be able to accommodate these travelers, these guests, as soon as possible. And then to even enhance the experience even more, we also introduced property technology into the building, into the project that will really enhance and make your rental operation efficient. So, syempre, if it's efficient, you can expect lower cost in your operations as well.
I'm sure this initial discussion really sparked your interest. And that's just part one of our first episode. Catch us again for the second part, where our expert guests will talk about the challenges that real estate investors go through and how 202 Peaklane Serviced Residences anticipated and answered these challenges. Until then, stay safe and happy listening.